This is Caleb Tallman, TeamFYNSports. We're sitting here with Madison Logan over here in the middle, and we got her golf coach, Amanda Thompson, and her dad, Chris Logan. We just wanted to take the opportunity to sit down today and just really honor all of Madison's accomplishments throughout her high school golf career, and just, share with those that don't know, golf sometimes doesn't get highlighted as much as it should, but Madison Logan's going to go down at the end of her golf career as the most decorated golfer on the women's side in the history of the Smoky Mountain Conference. So we're just going to start off today, Madison. Tell us, how did you get started in golf?
Well, when I was 6 years old, I was put in a TCJGA golf camp with a set of Kmart golf clubs, and ever since I played in that camp, I just followed the sport.
And so going through, starting from TCJGA, starting out, beginning in your high school golf career, just kind of fill us in on the in-between. Did you play in a lot of tournaments coming up through, elementary and middle school that propelled you into a successful high school golf career?
Yeah, I've played in a lot of U.S. Kids tournaments, Southern States tournaments. This kind of prepared me for high school.
And then how would you compare like some of those tournaments that you said they prepared you for high school? What are those tournaments like pressure-wise and those things compared to, a high school tournament or a high school regionals?
They're definitely, I feel like they're a little harder. Yardages are definitely longer in like the U.S. Kids tournaments and Central States. So it kind of prepared me for playing for the high school tournaments. For the high school tournaments definitely helped with my short game because of the shorter yardages.
And then so let's go back and begin, and just we'll kind of go year by year quickly. Just share a little bit. Obviously you didn't win regionals your freshman year. We know that. You won it the next 3 years though. How was your first year of high school golf for Hayesville?
My first year, there was definitely a little bit of pressure because we actually had a team that year. There was 3 girls playing. So I was just, hoping to make it for state for a team, but I still qualified for state my freshman year, so I got to get prepared for my next 3 years in state.
And then moving forward, coming in your sophomore year, did you feel like you had a really good chance to win the regional your sophomore year, or did you kind of surprise yourself?
Well, I knew I had a good chance of being qualified, so I was just kind of out there having fun. I didn't have a lot of pressure on myself, definitely, but whenever I came in with that score that I had and ended up winning it by, I think 8 strokes it was. It surprised me a little bit, but.
And then, you move forward to your junior year. Junior year had to be different than any of your other years just because of the way COVID affected the season. Y'all had a one-day state tournament, but you did win the regional your junior year. Just share about that one a little bit.
Once again, I kind of had an idea that I was going to get qualified for state again, so I didn't let too much pressure get on me. And I just, went out there and just played my game and not worried about anything else.
Absolutely, and we're going to throw a couple questions around for someone besides you real quick, Madison. Chris, just tell us, as her father, but, also you probably played a role as a coach as well in her life. Just tell us how you've seen her develop from that 6-year-old golfer with Kmart clubs to, the college level golfer we see before us now.
Well, it started out with the Tri-County Junior Golf Association, and her first year as a 6-year-old, she done fine. But the next year as a 7-year-old, she was playing with the 7 through 9-year-olds, and she started winning. And so I thought, well, hey, let's see where we can go from here. And so we got a little bit better set of clubs, and got rid of the Kmart clubs, and we started entering tournaments down in Atlanta, the U.S. Kids spring, summer, and fall tour, and she was player of the year on all 3 of those. So we just kind of started taking it more regional. After that, she qualified for a PGA Invitational down in Florida, and she got the top 5 down there. and it just kind of snowballed from there. We started just playing more and more different tournaments around the Peggy Kirk Bell Series, the Southern States Series, Notre Begay Series. We started playing a lot of different series from there, and then that prepared us for high school golf as well.
Absolutely. And then, so this year, coming into this year, I'm sure you were excited that it was going to be a regular year of golf for your senior year. But you did have a change up. Coach Thompson took over as the women's golf coach. Just share your first impression of Coach Thompson as your new golf coach. Obviously, very different personality from someone like Coach Hedden. So just share your thoughts.
Well, I've always heard, really good things about Coach Thompson. So I was really excited for the new year, especially she came in and she brought like 4 new golfers, which is something, it's been really hard getting girls to play, so she brought a bunch of girls in, so she just made the sport look really fun.
Gotcha. And since you mentioned that, obviously Coach Thompson helping with the recruitment, a little bit of new golfers, and obviously, you're going to be one of the more accomplished golfers that Coach Thompson probably ever coaches, even though it was in the first year of her career. What would you say to future golfers, maybe not even just at Hayesville, but, a lot of times, women and females, they don't always look towards golf as a great sport, but obviously you're probably about to go play in college as a golfer, and who knows how far that can take you. What are some words of advice or some words of encouragement you'd say to, maybe say even to your 6-year-old self when you were getting started as a golfer?
Well, there are a lot of great opportunities with golf, great scholarships for being a more male-dominated sport, but I would probably say make it fun. Golf comes a lot more easy whenever you're having fun.
Absolutely. And then Coach Thompson, so you took over this year, and obviously coming in, I remember talking with you a little bit before the season started. You said, I'm not going to be out here tweaking Madison's swing. She probably knows more than I do, but on the same hand, you were a very accomplished basketball player, and so you understand that high pressure, high mentality. So just tell us, about your team as a whole a little bit this year, if you want to share about some of the others, and then just, the ways you would coach Madison or just maybe even encourage her.
Yeah, so we knew coming in, I knew obviously when I took the job that Madison had been playing for years and that she was really good. And then there was also a couple beginners and then a couple girls that had played for a while but aren't quite at Madison's level. So I knew, right, and we had a conversation kind of towards the beginning, like, hey, you do your thing, and I'm just here to help in however I can. And so what that looked like most of the time was just kind of talking with Madison, talking with Chris before matches, and I feel like I just learned so much about golf, so much about course management from going on practice rounds with Madison and Chris. My role kind of, obviously the regular season set up matches, but she didn't really need my help during those matches. So my main role was at regionals and state. They would tell me what to look for, and obviously I was the only one that could communicate with her on the course. So if we saw something that was hey, I probably, something we had noticed in the practice round, I could go over and be like, hey, what about this? You might want to think about clubbing up. But really, most of the time if I said that, Madison had already grabbed the next club.
Yeah.
So I think my role was really more as just a supportive role, encouraging, and then a learning role, just learning from Madison and Chris and their knowledge about the game.
Absolutely. And so let's get into this year just a little bit. And correct me if I'm wrong here, you won all but one of the regular season matches, correct?
Yes.
I believe so. And so do you have any, before we start talking about regionals, do you have any good memories or favorite moments from your regular season?
I do actually. During my regional tournament, I was on the 10th hole, which was actually number 1, but we started on the backside. And it was just a straight par 4, and I pulled out my driver, and my dad and Coach Thompson drove up to go spot golf balls for me, because during the practice round I pulled a couple left up in the rough, but they were still findable. And I get up there, and I hit a decent shot. It was just a little pull hook left, though, and I didn't think anything of it because I hit there previously during my practice round. So I walk up there, and my coach looks at me, and she's like, you hit me. I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, you hit me in the ribs. And I was like, Well.
It was actually it was a good save because it had hit the cart path before it had hit Coach Thompson in the ribs, and so I think she played an important role at that regionals because with the trajectory it was looking like it was going out of bounds, but it hit Coach Thompson's in the ribs, and she gave us a good lie too. So
Yeah.
So Coach Thompson, obviously no one chooses to get hit by a golf ball. I mean, if you're going to get hit, you're not choosing the ribs.
No.
Tell us, what was your gut reaction?
Well, I told Madison, it was on the turn, so it was the 10th hole. And I thought everybody was like eating a snack, taking a break, like they had all gotten sandwiches. So I was just getting myself a snack too. And all of a sudden I just felt something hit. And I looked at Chris and I was like, what just happened? He was like, I think you just got hit. And we looked down and it was Madison's ball. We were like, well, that's where it was going. And I was like, I guess it works. Like, and then I was worried, is this legal, right? Because I was like, can you hit your coach and it just like work? And we were like, yeah, like it's, play the ball where it lies.
Well, yeah, you guys weren't the only ones around, obviously. So
yeah, so I mean, other people, everybody saw it, and I was like, oh no, like lose a stroke.
It'd have been one thing if you caught it in your hand.
If I caught it, like threw it down, but I think the bruise afterwards was pretty telling that it wasn't on purpose.
Hey, way to take one for the team. But looking at that regional, you won by 2 strokes, right? I believe.
I actually tied for the lead, and I went into.
Yeah, no, you won by a stroke in the playoff. That's correct.
it was the same.
It was that
The
same
same
hole,
hole.
so she didn't go up the spot that time.
Yeah.
So obviously that was of your 3 regional titles. That was obviously the closest because you hadn't gone to a playoff in the previous 2. You won by several strokes your sophomore year, and then you said 8 your junior year. So going to that playoff, I mean, that was obviously the best competition you ever faced. What was your mentality, really just going into the last couple of holes and then going into that playoff? And just to make people aware, I think this was either the first or second year where they did it where y'all had the live scoring. So you could see on your phone, like, you could see, like, okay, I've got to make par on this hole, or I've got to birdie this hole to just, try to win or stay in a tie for the lead. So what were your thoughts? And did it change at all the way you played throughout regionals and maybe throughout state, getting to see the live scoreboard like that? Because in a lot of high school tournaments, obviously every other high school tournament you played in, you didn't get to see that, and it was one of the first times they'd used it.
Yeah, so in my other tournaments that I play in, the other tours, I've always used live scoring.
Okay.
So I was kind of used to it, but definitely was looking at it throughout the day. I was on the 18th hole, and I saw that she was tied in the lead with me, so I was like, I would like to stick it close and birdie it so I can just go home,
Mhm.
but I had to make a par. I had to make a par on that last hole, and it was a par 3, it was uphill, and I hit my first shot a little short of, it was still on the green, but it was just short of the hole, about 30, 35 feet. And then I put my first ball straight up the hill, and it was like maybe 5, 6 feet short, and that putt definitely was.
You didn't leave yourself a tap in.
No, I didn't make it easy for myself. So that was probably the most pressure that I had. I have to make this putt for par, but I ended up making it, so I went into the playoff.
And then you go into the playoff, and I mean, you really put it on your competitor in the playoff. I mean, by birdieing, that pretty much guaranteed that you weren't going to lose on the first hole and gave you a really good chance to win. So was that your thought process going into that first hole? Just like, I'm going to come out here and just play it good?
Yeah, so I played that hole for almost 2 days straight, so I knew exactly what to do. So I stepped up and actually hit a good drive that time in the middle of the fairway. But then I measured my yardage, and I had about 65, and I had that shot about 3 or 4 times that day, so I knew exactly what club I needed. So I just, went through my pre-shot routine. I didn't let the pressure get to me, and I ended up hitting the dart to about 3 feet from the hole, a little short of it. But she definitely did make it easy. She pulled her drive a little left and a little short of the green, chipped up, but she had maybe a 20, 25 foot par putt, and she made it. So you know.
So you watched her make that par putt
Yeah.
in front of you, knowing that even though you have a short putt, I'm hitting this, or we're going to another playoff
Yeah,
hole.
it definitely wasn't an easy little 2-putt par win. It was, you know, she
Yeah.
was still fighting.
Yeah. And so was there a feeling of relief, happiness, what? 'Cause I mean, like, you know, obviously, if you win 2 straight regionals going into your senior year, it would have been a disappointment to win your 3rd straight regional title. So just tell us that feeling when you hit that birdie putt and you knew you had captured yet another regional title.
You know, it just, before the practice or before I played tournaments, I always make sure I practice my 3-foot putts because I know that, you know, they're still missable. So,
Yeah.
whenever I make that putt, it was just, you know, kind of surreal. Just
Gotcha.
really happy.
And then we move on to the state tournament. You went out and played 2 practice rounds, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell us a little bit about like when you went out there and played the practice rounds, and then your thoughts prior to starting the tournament.
So I played that course before, and I think I played it Peggy Kirkville, and then I also played it my sophomore year
State.
at State. So, you know, I went there. We always make sure to play 2 practice rounds in case something happens. Like the first day we went out there, it got dark on us by the 12 holes, so we had to go in. But,
Yeah.
I definitely feel more prepared, you know, whenever I have those practice rounds. But, I mean, it wasn't a Donald Ross course like the one at regionals because a lot of the golf courses out there are Donald Ross's. So,
Mhm.
you know, they're the false fronts and elevated greens. But this course was definitely it was still a tricky course. You got to hit your spots, but
Mhm.
the greens weren't, you know, as crazy as regionals.
And this one's for you, Chris. Obviously, you know, you're going out there and being with her for the practice rounds. I remember talking to Coach Thompson and just saying it's really incredible how you and Madison would work together. So in that coach's role, like what were you doing during practice rounds? Because I know obviously during the state tournament you can't talk to her, not allowed. Only coaches are allowed to talk to players. So what are you going into the practice rounds doing? Are you marking yardages and just share with us?
What we mainly work on is just course management on the practice rounds. We look for pin placements. We look for, you know, the best. Okay, you know, if we are going to bail out on a shot, what's the best side of the green to miss on, and just different aspects like that. And we just go around the course and we just kind of map it out the way we want to have a round to go. We don't really work on a whole lot of swing. We try to have our swing and our putting and stuff down before we get there and just play the course and learn the course. But Longleaf it's a great course out at Pinehurst. We were pleased that we got to play Longleaf. We played. It's actually a U.S. Kids owned course, and it's a good course. We like it out there. The only thing that's really different in those courses out there is a lot of Bermuda greens. Here in the mountains, we're used to bent grass greens, and so we have to kind of make adjustments to get used to the grain and different things when we go to courses like that. We don't get to practice Bermuda as much as other people do.
Gotcha. And then Coach Thompson, coming to the state tournament, we talked about how you were a pretty accomplished athlete yourself. Did you have any, you know, words of wisdom for Madison going into her first day?
We just try to keep it light, you know. Like I think sometimes it's easy in big moments to feel big pressure, and obviously it was a big moment. But I mean, especially with girls, honestly, we were laughing with Chris, right? And Madison's mom was there. Especially I think with girls, like it's kind of the lighter the mood, the better like spirits you're in, the better you're gonna play. So I think that's what we try to do. Just kind of keep it light. We had some putting competitions and Madison kicked my butt. It was great. So tried to boost her confidence that way. And yeah, no, that was pretty much it. I'm not a big speech person.
Gotcha.
You know, not a big speech person. So keep it light, have fun. Don't think too much about any one moment. Just kind of. It's a long day.
And I'll say it was great. She did bring a calming. You could tell that Coach Thompson was used to the big moments, and she brought a real calming feeling to what we were doing out there. Everything was just kind of real calm, and we just kind of made it through the day.
Gotcha. And so we'll go and look at, just take us a little bit, maybe through some of the highlights or even lowlights of your first round. I know you finished the first round 2 strokes out of the lead in second place. And obviously it was a 2-day tournament this year, which I know you had said after regionals you were really excited for. So just take us through your first round a little bit.
I was just looking to shoot a good score my first round. You know, I played the course for 2 days then, so I went out there. My stroke was a little off, but I was making putts and par saves and all that. But when the second day came around, I definitely felt a little bit of pressure. But you know, I did have a really good first 9. My putting was off. It was really windy the second day as well. But you know, with that live scoring, I was looking, and you know, I was like tied for 17th at that point. I was like, I really need to turn it around. So the back 9 comes around, and you know, I start playing a little better. My
Wind died down.
Wind died, yeah. And then I was on the 15th hole, I believe, or the 16th hole. It was par 5, and I eagled it, and it definitely boosted my confidence a little bit. Next hole, I birdied. I went birdie, and then I went eagle, and then I parred the last 2. So.
Yeah, I mean, because that was, I mean, obviously I was watching the live scoring as well, and it was pretty incredible just to see, because you went from, you know, like you said, I think you got all the way into the 20th range at one point, and you started the day in second place, only 2 strokes behind, obviously in a good position to win, and then, you know, get off to a rough start. But I thought it was pretty incredible just watching you. You know, you obviously put in the clutch factor a little bit and put yourself back in position to get a second place. And us from TeamFYNSports and really the whole Smoky Mountain Conference want to congratulate you, because one of the things, you know, us at TeamFYNSports, we're not the biggest proponents or lovers of the NCHSAA. I thought it was weird that y'all have a 1A, 2A split tournament. Obviously, you're used to it, but you were the top 1A golfer, and so in some respects, you could have won a state championship if they didn't split it. But still, a second place is the highest ever finish from a girls golfer ever. I know your teammate last year, Jayla, got 3rd, right? And so you bested her this year. And so we want to congratulate you on that. And then just to wrap up, what are your future plans in golf? You can mention schools if you want to or not, but just tell us. Obviously, you're very accomplished and will have options to further your golf career. What's going forward for the rest of this year? Are you playing any more junior level tournaments, and what are you looking at college golf wise?
Well, I'm looking to play for Western Carolina University right now. I'm talking back and forth with that coach. She's super interested. She's really involved. She's a younger coach, so you know, she's really in it. She really wants to win. So I'm pretty excited for that. Making my first official visit next weekend. I've obviously, you know, been around Western campus. We're only an hour from there, but I'm going to be touring with the team and you know, going to a couple classes with them and getting used to it. So I'm pretty excited. I'll be playing for them for 4 years till you know, going to graduate with a degree.
Yeah. And see where golf talk takes you. Maybe we'll see you on the LPGA in a few years. You never know.
You never know.
But we just want to thank you for joining us, Madison, Chris, Coach Thompson, and just once again congratulate you on all you accomplished. Obviously going out, as we sit and see all the retired jerseys behind us, including Coach Thompson, one of theirs up there, maybe we'll get to retire your golf bullet one day. So thanks guys, we appreciate it. Caleb Tallman, TeamFYNSports signing off.